Gentlemen, welcome back to another video. My name is Striker.
My name is Luba.
Our channel is about dating in Ukraine, isn't it?
Yes.
If you guys didn't know that, subscribe to the channel. Now, this video here is something that Luba and I discuss quite a lot, isn't it? We talk about this. Not necessarily as a whole, but on an individual basis. The topic of the video is, who do we not accept as clients? And there are
several points that we want
six
to cover.
of them. There are 6 of them. So,
and no offense, I think that this video shouldn't be like sad or offensive. It's just like we're at the position at the moment that we can only accept a certain amount of guys each month, because we do it on very individual matter, like on very individual point. We know all of our clients personally, we know their story, we know their situation, we know their history, I would say, we know their future, we try to plan
we know their future?
Yes, I do.
That's
So we try to make it very close. So I still do the tours, as as even though we have other wing women. So we try to keep it very close. So that's why we have some rules, I would call it, right?
Yeah, and we actually set these rules for ourselves when we started to do the tours. So when we started Heart Rocket, it was just like course, it was support, and then it ended up being tours and doing the full trip. So we had to set some rules for ourselves, and I'll just speak on my behalf here, is that I got to see some insight going through these companies and how some of these agencies are to their clients, right? And I didn't understand it at the time. I didn't get it. It was like, they could care more, or they could give more attention, or they could, and I was one of those people that they just didn't give a shit about, and I didn't really understand why that was. It was a bit hard to deal with at the time, but seriously, I couldn't understand why. And now when I'm in the industry, all of a sudden I see why that is, and it's because a lot of these companies, I'm not naming names, of course, they accept anyone, and some of these guys are never going to be successful. I can't say never, but chances of being successful are very low.
Before they will actually be successful, at least they would spend like fortune, like a lot of money. And
but
nobody prepare them for that.
And they're led to believe that they can be successful, or because there's, for whatever reason, and then when they're not, they're so bitter and they're so angry, and then they write stuff online, and it gets to a point where like some of these agencies are like, to hell with it, okay? Just give us your money. Have a go. If you're not successful, get lost, basically. And I believe that I was lumped into that as somebody who was like, could, I don't know, I guess come and have a go. You're not going to be successful. We don't give a shit. Just give us your money and get lost. And when that happens, it blurs the line between giving a shit and not giving a shit. And I get it. I understand that. And I understand that if we accepted a lot of the guys that applied for Heart Rocket, we would also be saying, oh, well, he's not going to be successful, but he's paid us and it's our job and we've got to get more staff and we've got to build the company and it's just going to be a big company that makes money. But we don't want to be like that. So Luba and I set down rules for ourselves at the start that we must always enjoy the process. We can never, ever deal with guys that have no respect for us, no respect for Ukrainian women, that are unreasonable, that we could never help. The way that we look at it is, if you pay us money, we have to understand that we can give you the best chance possible. That's it. And that's all it's ever going to be. So it's never going to be putting 20 guys in a room with a bunch of ladies that we have no idea who they are, and maybe a couple of years we'll get successful, and then we'll make you guys the poster child for the company. We're not interested in doing that. I don't want the headache. Life's pretty good at the moment. I don't want the problems all that.
And I can't imagine how these guys were coming for the same company for like 10 years. It's already several clients that we have that say like, I've been looking for, I was looking at this company. It was coming like 15 times. I've been 7 times. I'm looking since 2006. I thought like, I didn't even finish school back then yet. So, and he's still in search. And then, and we have a successful stories that, we help these guys.
So who don't we accept? Okay. Now this can be a little bit hard sometimes, and it is hard to say to guys that we can't accept you. But we're always straight up, aren't we, when it comes to this, and we make no apologies for it, because we do it because we can't help you, and you better to spend your money
somehow else,
on anything else.
And like if okay, I will explain it here. So if there is a reason that we can't work with you because sometimes it's happening that we can't accept you at the moment, and the reason for that is that you have to improve yourself on some matters, and we advise you on that. So I been working for so long that I've seen so many different guys, and I see that nobody ever give them any advice, because I don't know, maybe it's not polite to point at some disadvantages, maybe, but I think that if you pay me money, you want to hear the truth, because you don't want to get just a smiley girl who will sit there, clip her eyes and say yeah, perfect. No, I repeat, because we work with you personally, and I deal with you for the 3 weeks before you arrive, and then with some of you I work for for the rest of your trip, and then give you support. For me, it's very important to understand that I will be successful. And even I was talking to our stylist, and we will add something to our lookbook, that you need to, some guys, they think that I'm joking or Striker is joking about like nails, that you need to look after yourself, you need to cut your nails, you need to shave, and if you have a beard, you should keep the beard if it is nice, and if it is like half there, half not, or you don't want to care about that, you should cut it, and the nails should be nice, and you should try to get in fit, and you have to have all, we will add all that. So we work constantly on improving and helping you to improve. Victoria even want to add some facial cream, as advice for the guys to use and have a better skin. So we working on that pretty hard. So if there is a reason that we can't accept you now, but we would like to help you to make yourself better, and then we'll accept you, it's also possible, but we will tell you this. But now we will discuss something when we don't want to accept the guys, and we can't because we can't help. So first is
and this is the most obvious one, and we talk about this a lot, and it comes down to a guy being, well, it says on my notes, unrealistic, but it's actually unreasonable is the best way to say it. See, because we, as mentioned, we will only take your money if we think that we can help you, right? That's it, okay? Your expectations may not be completely unachievable, but we do not feel comfortable that we can give it to you. So we can't give you that, actually, I'll tell you a story. I remember years and years ago, I engaged in a solicitor/lawyer to do some work for me. And it was the way he described it was a rat's nest. And he said, yeah, I can help you out. I can do all the paperwork and everything for your businesses. And when I gave him all the information that took me a long time to put together, I gave it to him and he said, I can't do this job for you. It's going to be a real headache for me. I don't want to do it. I'm going to charge you way more than you want to pay. So you're probably better to find someone else to do it. And I thanked him for that. And I said, I appreciate your candor and, giving me that information now instead of wasting my time and, of course, wasting his time as well. And so I appreciated that. We are doing the same thing here. We're not saying that if you want to have something that's unreasonable, and unreasonable does not necessarily mean the age gap. We always talk about that, okay? So if you are well out of, you are not in a good shape, all right, and you want a yoga instructor, even if she's the same age, she's not going to see that that's a reasonable ask, okay? So if you're looking for a woman that has certain characteristics that's difficult to find, she has to speak English, no kids, she's got to be 40, still wanting to have kids, but all these things, and we think that, look, the chances of us finding that are not very good. We'll say, hey, look, that's unreasonable for us to try and do that. Why would we want to spend weeks and weeks and weeks trying to achieve something that we can't for the same amount of money? It's not like we're saying to you, pay more and we'll do it for the same amount of money as with somebody that's reasonable, because we only have a certain amount of spots. So if somebody is unrealistic or unreasonable, we will say we can't help you. And we have done that to so many, haven't we? And we've either always said, look, we can't achieve it, or we are very clear about our position when it comes to the Skype call, and they kind of get the picture anyway. So. And
sometimes guy really get, he say, Luba, he message in a month, and he say, I was thinking about that, and I want to change him. I want to believe that the guy who is calling us or getting our service is willing, they know us enough, even though it's through YouTube channel, they know us enough to trust and believe us. And it's it's a difficult, I think that trust, it's something that you need to achieve. Trust, it's something that you can't say, just trust me, and you will trust me. No, I think that trust is something that, you have to, it will take a lot of time. But I believe that a lot of guys are a little bit scared. They say, Luba, but I do see the matches that you match me with, right? Because they've been burned with like some other companies when they didn't know. And I say, like, you will know more than enough. And our previous, like one of our videos was about photos and the guys on Telegram channel. If you don't know, please subscribe to our free community Telegram channel. Down below is the invitation link. So it's a closed community, but it's free. Just download the Telegram on your phone and click the link. So he said like, but I met the ladies and they didn't have real pictures. I work days and nights to get you real pictures. So I do my best to make things like as possible, like clear and transparent for you. But you have to listen and trust us. If you don't, and you still think that you know better, and this is like the worst position, I believe for my client, I know better, I don't know, I don't need all of this information, then we just like, I think that you should call somebody else. So
okay,
next.
so that's okay. Next one. So next one is ethnic or religious conflicts. Okay, so we've had calls from guys from countries that are like a Muslim country, right? From Dubai, and nice guys, you know, nothing against the religion or the culture or anything like that. But for us to find a woman that will change her culture, almost 180. It's very, very difficult. So these guys here were straight away were like, no, aren't we? You know, we've had a few guys sort of try and pull the wool over our eyes. I won't go into too many stories, but there was one, I'll go into one story, where the guy was like, yeah, I don't, he was fully like Muslim, wasn't he?
From Qatar, I think.
Yeah, somewhere. And he was like, no, she doesn't have to change her religion. Or anything like that. So, okay, yes, some women do go to some of these countries like Dubai, but the guys like paying for a lavish lifestyle, right? You know, they're on yachts, they're Instagramming it, they get to show their friends back home, all that sort of stuff. That's different from what we're talking about. But what he was saying was, what sort of come out was, it went from, no, she doesn't have to change her religion, she doesn't have to dress a different way, to, well, if she wanted to change her religion and dress a different way, then it was up to, and for us it was like, okay, all right, like we can't find this, you know, we can't find this.
Yeah, and it's like too much. It's not that too much work for us, but we just like, I want.
No, it is too much work for us.
Yes, it is. And I just want the guy be happy and successful. Like our product is not like, oh, you do this and like you come back in 6 months, we will match you with other ladies. No, I want you to come in 5 months. To your lady.
Yeah, but also like that, not many women want to change their religion
it's a very difficult. So it will be just almost impossible for me to find. It will take like so much time. So I would apologize, but I would prefer not to accept this. And also about religious conflicts. Like we had a guy, a very nice guy. He was from Australia, I think, but he was kind of like part of some church, very different, I would say. Like I never heard of that, but he was telling about like how they met, and it is his belief. I respect it. Striker respect it very much. But when we start talking, he was very concerned. Should he go to Ukraine? He never been to Ukraine. He called us kind of because like Striker is Kiwi and like he was, trusting him, and he was like so excited to talk to us. Very lovely guy. You know, I would super happy to work with him. But for him, it was like almost mandatory that the lady will have to accept. Like he has some meetings in his house, and like he's the leader of that like new flow, new church or something. Like trust me, people in Ukraine not just scared of that. They would like I can talk the whole video about that. It's a different thing, like what happened in Ukraine, why people are so suspicious of some other religious,
like a cult.
A cult, yeah. So it's like people are just like extremely scared and super skeptical. And I told him, really, like, you better find somebody within your church who will have your understanding. You will never fight about that. Because for me to explain that to the lady would be almost impossible. He was extremely grateful for us that because he said that other companies was no problem. They didn't even ask. They don't care. Like they was going to accept him. And I say, I recommend you to not do it because it will be waste of time and money for you. If you want to travel to Ukraine and you have a spare money and you want to try, of course, like he was super cool guy. But if it's something that you specifically look and you know that you're looking just for that, then I'm sorry, but we will not be able to help. Next.
Okay, next one.
My favorite one.
The Lua loves this one. If the guy calls us and does the coaching call, and we get the inkling, usually because he's so open about it, that the reason that he wants to go to Ukraine to find a woman to have a relationship with is because Ukraine is a very like a poor country, right? Now, there are some there is something there, right? Like I've talked about this in videos before about the socioeconomics of this country, and that's why, like, you can, men from the West have more value, and hypergamy can kick in, and you can use it to your advantage. I get all that, and you and I could definitely have a conversation about this over a beer one day, and we could go deep into it. But when a guy calls us and says, we pick it up pretty fast, when he says that, like Ukraine, like poor, it's a poor country, and I know that they're poor, and I know that they want to come to the United States, and I know that I've got more than what they have, and that's the reason why they're going to be in a relationship with me. We're kind of like, that's not really sort of what we do. You're probably looking more for a solution that's along the lines of maybe like a sugar daddy arrangement, where it's like, yes, she knows that she's poor, but she wants to live a better lifestyle, and you're going to provide.
But you know what does mean for me, like when the guys say, as a Ukrainian woman and who lives here and who understand, like, first of all, is that the guy has no clue about our country.
Yes.
And second is that he has no value.
I'm glad you said that, because that's exactly what I was thinking.
Like, I know. He has no value for me whatsoever, because I think that, we was discussing with Striker recently. We don't want this video to be too long, but I think it will be. But we was discussing that, you remember, about rich guys who, like, some poor guys who say like, I just booking, like, everything is luxury, everything is sparkling, and then the guys who has money, but they don't really care. Like, if apartment is nice, like, even if it is luxury, he will never mention that. Remember, we talked about this.
Yeah.
So I think that the guy who is like respecting himself, who has a value, who makes some money, who has a business or whatever, he will never judge any country according to like money aspect or desperate.
Yeah, he goes one step deeper, where it's like he's not thinking, okay, so this country is poor, therefore I'm going to benefit from that country being poor. He sees the country more, I guess, along the lines of how it's going to enhance his life, but not on a level of money, I suppose. How does it make him feel when he is there? And I've been to, thinking from my own experiences, I've been to some luxury places and some poor places. The poor places always make you feel better than the luxury places, right? It's just the way that it is. So, so when it comes, I'll tell another story here about the guy from Moldova who went to go to Moldova.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah.
So we had one client one time, and we told him that, it's not really going to... Actually, I think he was like of a Muslim background as well, wasn't he?
It doesn't matter.
Well, whatever. But we told him that, look, no, it was, but it does matter, because we said that we can't help you. So we couldn't help him for whatever... I'm sure it was Muslim.
Sometimes it's just a conversation. Like, sometimes the guys just tell this out in their conversation. When we like have a coaching call, we ask them, how did you find us? Like, why are you planning to come here?
Yeah.
And so it doesn't really matter. Like,
there's many different parts how guys.
But anyway, like the cut. Long story short, he said that I think that some guys already getting that Ukraine, it's not that poor. That Ukraine is not that desperate as they thought.
Only
but
after
now,
they come here.
No, sometimes, yeah. Or like because of the videos or whatever reason. But now they think that Belarus and Moldova are like this.
Yeah, forget about Belarus.
Forget about Belarus first, please. Because like definitely like you would be burned by that. But Moldova, I just like it is the same false path as the guys think that the village girls are like super good. You've seen the village girls, like this girl has like a little bit of a
village girls are not hot, okay?
They're not
they're
hot.
Not
like,
hot.
They're a little bit overweight. They're very strong. They're very healthy. They can
don't shave their legs.
They don't shave anything. They have like a little bit of a mustache. Like they will have a very strong long hair, but it will be like always oily. So the picture that you
strong forearms,
how this thing called?
They're not these beautiful angels running in the field.
Yes, it's not that the girl is like running.
They work at the market. If you want to know, go to the Primos market.
That's all the village girls, all the village girls, like young ones who parents has the cattle and they sell this stuff. So this is the village girls. The same in Moldova. Like if you want this girl, of course. But I think that when you're talking about Ukrainian or Slavic lady, you want somebody nice, you want somebody hot. So trust me, the girls in Moldova that are, looks good and take care of themselves, they have no difference between like, Ukraine or Belarus or Russia or anything like that. So please stop thinking about our culture as a poor, desperate country and culture.
Because Luba's right. Like if you really are going somewhere, like, look, we understand the whole concept of hypergamy, but there is a little bit more to it than that. And if someone calls us and says, look, I understand hypergamy, which we've had conversations similar in the past, And I believe that, like the women are poor and that's why I can have a relationship. Instead of like framing it maybe in a different way, yes, there is some truth to it, but we can tell like when someone comes out and goes, look, the women here are shit and like I'm better than them. Yeah, it's not.
If it is easier for you, think like that, but never say that out loud, because I will not be able to accept you, because this point, actually, the one who is not respect Ukrainian women or think that we are poor or like the Moldova is better. So you need to sit for a second and think about that you has no value, that you has nothing, like you try to get the lowest
lowest hanging fruit.
Yeah, in your mind, in your mind, you think that you can't achieve anything good, you can achieve only something bad. So I don't think that it will lead anywhere good. And this leads us to the point that we can't accept the guy who not respect us.
Yeah, okay. So this isn't actually not so common.
No, not common.
It's not common at all. But sometimes like guys like, I guess it falls a little bit in line with the last conversation, but I mean, you've had it before where guys are like, I don't, they kind of dictate the terms on what you will work for them because, a silly Ukrainian girl, you have nothing and you're so, this here is like definitely a no. So,
this not happening nowadays, but this
not these, but yeah.
Because honestly, like you have to understand that if you have a person who works for you, of course, everything depends on how, but I will shortly tell the story. Like one guy, he lost his luggage. It was maybe 7 years ago. Maybe 5, but he lost his luggage. He lost his passport. Like everything was mess with him. He got like he
lost
really,
his mind. I heard.
He lost his mind. Yeah. So everything was like, and I was running around him. Like we went to the embassy. We went there. I was driving him in my car. And then at the end of the day, he asked how much he owes me. And so back then I was charging like $20 per hour as interpreter, and I thought that I would tell him the same, but even though like we drive very far and it was on my car, he didn't offer gas money or anything, and so I tell him like 80. So he gives me 100 hryvnias, that is like less than $5, and he say he can keep 20. You can keep 20 hryvnias, like because I told him 80, so he gave me 100 and he said you can keep 20 as a tip.
Oh, okay.
And I was looking at him, like for me back then I can't do anything, but at the moment it's different. But now it's like the guy may not respect us in a little bit different level. He not respect not me and Striker as a human being, but they have less respect to the packages and the service that we provide
in the process.
And the reason for that is that he not value our time and our effort. And they sometimes, it happening like, thanks for that, but it happened very, very rare. They say, you know what? I don't need all of your package. Like, I just don't need it. I need like a little bit. I need just a little part of that. That just introduce me to the ladies. That's all. I don't need your course. These like, if you guys say that you don't need our course, like that's all. That's the answer. If you don't need our course, you don't need us. And then you maybe probably can do it yourself. And so this guy really like, he pissed me off. I was upset because he not just tell that he doesn't need our service and he want to make it like cheaper. He want to craft it, he want to customize it. But the worst thing he said to me, remember? That you girl will like, you will call me back. I don't think that you have that much clients that you can, neglect me like such a good and valuable guy.
I'll just add to that too. It's like, so people contact us for, there's usually two, there's kind of 3, but I'm going to say 2 here. Types of guys that contact us, okay? So it's the guys that followed like my channel from the start or picked it up halfway through and then met Luba and they followed it. And then the time came right where they were like, fuck yeah, this is it. I'm going to give them a call. And they contact us and they understand. And they always, when they answer the Zoom call, they're like I've watched your videos for so long, and like straight away we're like, man, this guy's cool. Even if, no matter what, it's like if you've watched their videos for a long time and then you've plucked up the courage or you've got to the stage in your life where you want to do it, for us, that's a lot of respect that you've like sat there, just never been in the comments or anything like that. But then there's the other guy who contacts us because we're the new kid on the block. They've done this agency, they've done this tour company, they've done this social, they've done everything.
Started in 2006.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, we're the new kid on the block, and they're like, oh, okay, I see that they're legit. Okay, so I know how much I paid here, and I know this, and they'll message us this and that's the terminology that they use, where they're trying to like pick us apart because they picked apart this romance company, and they understand that this one's full of shit. And it's like, yeah, hang on a second. Like, if you're contacting us, it's because you believe that we can really, truly help you, or are you contacting us because you've got no one else that will help you? If that's the case, then we probably can't help you at all. So when it comes to, we'd say it sounds really sort of narcissistic respect to us, but we respect all of our clients, and then what we ask from all of our clients is that they're just honest with us. They tell us like their true feelings, because we can't help them otherwise. They tell us about their history, what they want in life. That's it. Because
and
as
also
soon as
we don't want guys to lie to us.
Yeah, as soon as we get the inkling that something is, and like, think about it. She's a woman and she's from Ukraine and she's been in the dating industry for a long time. She's like a fortune teller when it comes to what guys are thinking. Like, you may think that's a joke, but I'm telling you, there's something there. So we sort of get a pretty good inkling when it comes to something that's not right. And if we think it's not right, we will reject. We may even refund as well, which we have done in the past. So anyway, respect to us. It's pretty simple. We're your friends. You're our friends. Just think about it that way. Next one is not one we like to talk about, and they've been pretty difficult in the past. Okay, so disabilities and illness, right? This one has been actually pretty traumatic for me.
For me, it's...
For me, this has been like, I like to think that I haven't been somebody, to be honest, I can't even think of the last time that I had tears in my eyes.
Just now I was crying, start crying.
So maybe like even through all my shitty times back in New Zealand, I never ever once had tears in my eyes. I never cried, just kind of went through it. I can think of 2 calls when it came to disabilities that I've had, that I had to walk away from Luba and go into the other room and not look at her in case she was about to well up and cry, because it was pretty difficult. And it wasn't because of anything bad. Like, all these other things we've said are kind of bad. This one here is because there's nothing that they can do and we can do to help them. So when it comes to disabilities, whether it's in a wheelchair, whether it's recovering from some disease or illness,
or having some disease that is like can pop up, like, for example, I will make an example, is like I don't know how you call stages, or like diabetes, right? So one of the guys, he called us and he had a very difficult situation, that he has some capsule inside. I would not use any terminology because I don't know, but it was some kind of capsule that can pop up anytime. So he's under control in US, so he's safe there.
A capsule,
something inside, so anyway, so there was something that, if this will happen in Ukraine, I will have no clue and no idea how to help him.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain what he said about what was there, but he's under complete control in US. If something happened, he know where to call. They will come, they will fix him, and hopefully he will survive, even though it's very, very dangerous. But he told us that, and how can I take this responsibility on me? How can I take this responsibility if something happened to him? What will I do? I can't even imagine that. So I just can't do it.
It's a lot of and when it comes to disabilities, say wheelchairs and things like that in Ukraine, it's different from
the West.
From
very,
the West.
very
In the West. I
different.
remember when I opened my first office, I think it was, I had to widen the toilet door and put a ramp going into my office just in case someone in a wheelchair came to use my services, which I didn't really understand because I didn't have that many clients that
I was shocked in UK when I was there. So I was helping one guy who was opening the restaurant, and they can't open the restaurant if they don't have this access for the wheelchairs. Yeah. And in Ukraine we have this is terrible. This when I was in US, and we went to Disney and we went to all these places. These people live their life in a grocery. They have place they can shop. They have these little cars. They live full life.
They have their own car parking,
nothing.
toilet, everything.
Everything. When and especially in Disney, it's so cool. They can enjoy life. Here you're done, unfortunately, but you are just completely done. If something happened to you, and you are on a wheelchair, there's no infrastructure whatsoever. We don't even have infrastructure sometimes for the strollers for mother and kid. So when you have a child, you need to bump him on this, when you need to cross the street, they don't even have this little slide. So unfortunately, we can't help because it's not There's no infrastructure here, but also say if you had some sort of illness that was life-threatening, and then you came and did this. I know that some companies, they accept. They don't care. I went through that. It was the worst days in my life when this guy landed, and we just saw that this company really have no soul and accept his money, really. And he would actually probably be able to spend this money on him and make himself a little bit better. But they no problems. And I know for sure that he bought the tour right after he'd been on the seminar. So they knew how he looks like. It's not that he just applied and they didn't know who is that. This was just the most cruel thing that I've seen.
Yeah. So yeah, basically it's if we could, we would. But we can't. Like it's we don't have the infrastructure like for Luba and Maria or the wing woman to go out on a tour with someone where they're like kind of like worried if something bad is going to happen. It's like we
do have our nurses degrees with Maria, but not on that level. Yeah. And the last thing, is that the guys who are not coachable. Now it's a big word. I think it's too big of a word. For me, it's basically the guys who not listen to my advice.
Yeah, we've had calls with guys where we're like, hey, this guy's cool, this guy could, he looks good, takes care of himself, he's got a good job. And then we would say something not so long ago, it was like, okay, well, sign up, do the course. He's like, can I, like, I'm not going to do the course. Like, I'm pretty well clued up on when it comes to women. It's like, yeah, but you'll learn a bunch of whole other stuff, like just be open. Yeah, look, I'm a busy man. We're like, okay, we're not going to take you as a client. So, and it's because, it's not because, how do we say it? So some guys, like, yes, they date a lot in the West. They date hot women in the West, okay? That's not what it's about. It's about avoiding the shitty shit that comes with dating in Ukraine. It's not about teaching you how you can date a woman with blonde hair or blue eyes, or how you can establish frame, or any of this sort of stuff. There's plenty of books and information and YouTube channels out there that can do that for you. This is about dating in Ukraine and looking at that dating scene as something different, but being open to something different. But if somebody says, "Oh, I already know everything already. I just need you to get me the dates," we won't take you as a client. So I'm not going to say at least pretend you're going to do this course, but because we can actually see from in the website who's actually done the course. But what we want guys that are open to develop themselves. This is a huge part of this. And if you do it properly, I say it a lot, I've said it in videos, I say to a lot of when we're on a lot of coaching calls, is that it's about developing yourself, okay? So it's about being someone at the start, going through the process, understanding relationships, women, dealing with it, shit test, the whole thing, and coming out the other end being the person that you wish you were at the start. This is all part of it. If somebody says, I don't have time to, we've had this before, and I've said, hey, look, why don't you read like this, please read like one book, like please just read this one book.
Listen even.
Just listen to that. So when you come over here, the women don't see you as like a friggin' pussy from the West, okay? At the very least, this book, it's a 5-hour book. Listen to it. You won't be taken advantage of because you'll have at least start to be pushed into the
right direction.
The right direction of having the right frame, not being some, I don't know, beta male from the West. And when someone says, no, I don't need that. Okay, well then maybe you don't need us as well. It's like, go and do what you want to do, go out your date, see what happens, and then come back. But yeah, we only suggest things because, well, we kind of know a few things perhaps that maybe guys starting out don't, right?
We don't really ask a lot, I think, like from the clients. Like for me, the most important is to work with a guy who respect us, respect me, respect Ukraine, who is wondering, who is positive, and who is hungry for the experience. This is like my guy.
Who wants something better than the West.
Yeah, so when we talk and he's like, hi, I heard about that, I did this, I did some research. So he didn't have research about scammers. He didn't research about how poor is our country, but he did a research about something cultural, historical, traditional or something. And he shared that on a call. And how cool is that when the guy is speaking like even few words? It's always bring me smile when we start the call. It means that the guy did some research and he did some effort. And when he's positive, when he has a hope, and when he has like love in his heart, it's what I want to say. Because
I'm gonna say openness and self-awareness as well is very important.
Very important. And self-awareness, it's like the most important, because you need to understand who you are and not try to pretend that you're a unicorn, that Ukrainian ladies will just die by just seeing you. And
there are a lot of channels out there that will push that narrative to get your money. Can I just add one last thing here?
Yes.
You go. You finish what you were saying.
No, I just I finished. Like I just said that unfortunately sometimes it happened that the guy is calling and say like, Luba, I've been many times. You're my last chance. to be honest, like it's too much pressure for me. Like I do. For me, it's like I will win because like I like to win. I like to get. I like. I was running the marathon like a year ago, and I never run. Like I don't really. It's not my thing. But I knew that I need to get there, even if I'm dying. But I need to get there. This is my personality. This is how I want to achieve, and I will make you successful. Not no matter what. I will try my best. You just need to know that for sure. So. But if you just like have no hope and you think, oh, life sucks, whatever, do whatever, like I don't care, also not my story. Finish here.
Yeah, okay, I'll just finish on this. It's a money grab out there, right? We talk to guys who, and they pay for, like every guy that talks to us has to pay for the call. There are other companies that do the free sales call, and they do the free sales call with some of these guys, and these coaches who are just ex-clients that are kind of engaged or whatever, they'll tell them about the service, and then they'll say something like, hey, look, if you sign up before Friday, we'll give you $1,000 off. All those coaches get $500 if you sign up. It's a sales call. We don't do any of that stuff. Okay, so if you call us, it's a genuine call that you've paid for. We'll give you the best advice possible. It's not a money grab. Okay, so if you go to some of the other companies, they'll say whatever it takes for you to give over some amount of money, maybe not the whole amount. Maybe they charge $8,000, but for now, limited time offer. If you sign up before Sunday, you get it for $6,000. Okay, we're not interested in doing any of that stuff. It's a money grab. It's a disgusting industry that is out there. So just remember, if you're realistic and you know what you want, but it's realistic, then go out there and get it. If you're
we're
unsure,
not there for money. We can say that proudly that we're not there just for money. We have other projects, soon you will know about that, like that takes so much time and bring us also like joy. We just love hard target, that's why we're doing that, but we need to really enjoy the process. And we, from the very beginning, Striker told me, I told him, like, we're doing that until we really enjoy it. The day then when we say like, can't be bothered,
it's too much trouble, then I'm not going to do it.
Goodbye.
But that's, it's a long video. It was meant to be a short video.
Guys, if you watched till this moment, can you please comment like, yes, like I watched it till the end. We're just curious, like if anybody was watching the video that is 39 minutes. So, and also subscribe to Telegram channel. There we post like some live videos about what's happening in Ukraine from our tours, what we do on the tours, like just everyday life. Something that, on our opinion, looks different than on the West, like from the groceries or anything. So we hope that, I know that the guys,
including buying property.
Including buying property. So we see you guys next time.
We'll see you next time.